haven't screwed up this time, but the evening is young. I have more time to screw up here. This is the third time.
It says live in 2 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Oh, yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah,
is
it says mine too.
It does? Is there a live button there?
I think you said something up wrong.
It says live.
It says live?
And someone said hello test. Little test, hello. Yeah, I mean, one person's watching, testing, Michael Summit.
One person's watching.
Should be good. It should be good now.
Yeah, it's good now.
Just read
All right, boy. Let me tell you, Sam De La Torre, if we got somebody around here who knew what they were doing, we'd be dangerous. Let me tell you.
Where's Mackie?
Yeah, really, should. You're going to get bumped here, Anthony.
Put me in charge of that.
Mackie, where are you, man? Mackie's hiding out again. Dude, Anthony and I revamped the whole studio today because we have so much stuff from Mexico.
Well, yeah.
So that's like out, and we're moving that to the warehouse Thursday. And then, oh my God, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Nice.
Including my wife didn't convince me. She just said, hey, let's do a catering thing. So we got an order for 100 burritos on Thursday. So we got to go make for a buddy of mine that has a huge thing.
Like to provide food for somebody.
Because Ruth's father is in a old person's home in Costa Rica, and so we're just making a little extra money to take care of him down there. So Felipe.
A gig.
And then I answered the phone today just to give you a little Costa Rican Latina. You probably would. For whatever reason, I was talking to Paisano. I was talking to him, and Ruth called me, and I go, "Hola, Ruth," and she goes, "Who's speaking?" And I go, "Felipe," and she goes, "Hola, Ruth." Hola, Ruth? Why do you say, you want me to say Hola, Felipe from now on instead of mi amor? And I'm like, oh my God, here we go with this. I go, I don't even think I said Hola, Ruth. And he goes, oh yeah, you did. Anyway, Pokey Dad Fishes says we're good now. We have got all kinds of comments coming in. And Sam De La Torre, I know you've been busy today, but do you know that 5 huge schools of bluefin we're seeing 75 miles from Point Loma. I can't divulge my source. It's out there. But there's fish there. There's fish off San Martin. There's fish down off Cedros. Woohoo! Here we go.
Awesome.
Come on.
No, that's cool. The stuff's marching up the line.
What a bigger reaction than that.
It's marching up the line.
And then take this for what it's worth, but a guy tells...
For what it's worth.
A guy walks up to Brian and I at the Independence booth.
Oh, it's on your pocket, yeah.
Yeah. He walks up to us, the Independence booth, and he said, my cousin, my brother-in-law, got a yellowfin tuna on the 238.
Man.
Like a couple days ago. And I go, really? In that cold water there? And I go, tell him. So Brian comes in and he goes, really? And he goes, yeah. I thought he said he sent me a photo, so I go, well, let me see it. And he goes, no, he's got the photo.
Oh.
So, yeah, I don't know. But the guy's probably listening and thinking I'm a jerk. But I believe you, okay?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, well, I mean that would just add credence to what you've been saying.
Yeah, that stuff was thick down there. So yeah, I'm sure it went south a little bit, through the winter. But there was so much of it there that I don't think it went that far. So yeah, I wouldn't think that that's far-fetched. Even though you're right, it's cold water. But it was cold where they were at that's in the fall.
Yeah, that's true.
So it wasn't like the cold water was going to scare them, further south. So yeah, I totally believe it.
Michael Schmidt says we're good. Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate that. Sam De La Torre says, what about now?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Brett Enter, who's a fantastic guy. I want to say thank you to Sam for setting me up with a killer Cal Star jig stick. So stoked.
You got it, man. Yeah, go cast those jigs, man. Yeah, he came down. And we looked at a couple rods, and he went to CalStar for some recommendations. He says, go talk to Sam. He went back to CalStar. He says, yeah, he's right. He came back and he bought it. So that's pretty cool. He was pretty stoked. He's going to be doing some big-time jig fishing this year.
He's a super good guy. Yeah. His dad's great. Really, really nice people. Julio SF says nice.
Oh, man.
He's right.
He's not talking about you, is he?
No, I think he's like, oh, Michael, look at your fingers.
Nice.
That is the way to eat chicken wings, guys. Yeah. Darn it. Good job. Thank you, Julio. Chris Navarro, I can comment. Keep it clean, Chris, please. David Rosenthal. We love David. We were just talking about what a great guy he is. Good evening, guys. Nice shirt, Phil. That's right. I'm wearing the David Rosenthal shirt in your honor, David. It was good to see you and your wife at the show. Really appreciated that. Robert Graber, where's Mackie, the magician, to get it all going? It only took me 3 times, so give me a break there, Robert. Salty Rod 365. Hey, Friedman Adventures family. Great to see you here. Thank you so very much. Tons of comments coming in. A lot of people watching. Hit that like button. It's amazing I didn't chase everybody away with all the false starts tonight. I got to tell you. Let's see. Robert Graber, good evening. Phil, Sam, Michael, and the Friedman Adventures family. Happy Monday after the PCS show. Man, I hate to go back to it again, but and I'm a little jaded on shows, after doing them for 40 years or whatever. That was a great show.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't around in the pre-COVID hall shows.
Right.
And it was like that.
Yeah.
It was. And even more so, I think, because it was all one building. At least it appeared that way because it's all one building. There's definitely some electricity, in the air for those shows back then.
Oh, yeah.
And like I was saying earlier, to me, I kind of got the same feeling. I got that feeling of people being fired up, ready to buy, fired up on fishing in general, and just kind of down there, ready to do business, and we're just excited to see us. So I think, to me, from what I understand, it was the best attendance for the PCS show, and the best, the most booths they ever had, the most square footage, all the way around, the biggest show that they've ever had, and as evidence now that I think is kind of public knowledge is they're going to add another show and be at Del Mar next year.
Yeah.
I think San Diego guys especially, are
Do you
excited
know the
for
date
that too.
of that or the month of it at least?
I believe it's 2 weeks after this one, so
Yeah.
it's going to be mid-March. Call it mid-March. And maybe that was part of the reason that this show was so big, is that it was kind of all in one show. So where we had the LA kind of guys that were waiting for the big show, plus knowing that the Del Mar show had been canceled, all the San Diego guys that normally go there, well, they had to travel up to Orange County to this show. So it was kind of like the perfect storm of shows. And so I think that that's going to be something that you're going to see next year, those guys doing it at both places. So I'm really interested to see what they do down there. I know it's a different venue. They don't have, as far as I understand, the ability to have all these buildings like they do here in Orange County.
Uh-huh.
But who knows? I mean, Bill's a pretty entrepreneurial guy.
Smart guy.
The grounds down there are very, very big altogether.
Yep.
So I'm sure if there's some way to make it bigger, he's going to look to do that. And even though back then too, they would put those extra tents outside the main hall.
Yeah, right.
And so I got to imagine they could put up as many as you want.
I think so.
So
And Bill he put up some tents here on the
yeah,
Orange County
yeah, he
Fairgrounds.
put that big one
Yeah.
up there for the new building. I can't imagine him not doing that, and I can't imagine him not having the support from the vendors that would want to go down there and have the same type of experience. So yeah, really looking forward to what he's able to put together for next year.
Will you just control yourself over that bluefin tuna info I just gave you? Calm down. Don't stop, Sam. Stop.
Especially with how many they've caught.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. The guys are trying to get off the docks down there. Come on.
No, that stuff being around, I think once that stuff finds all that local anchovy, it's going to be game on. You're going to see a bunch of foamers, kind of what we had 7-8 years ago. I have to imagine that popper bite is going to be the first thing to go off. And I think that guys are really going to get fired up. Bluefin tuna, any kind of tuna fishing in general, is exciting. You go out there, the chance of catching a 100-pounder, it's awesome. But when you can see it, visually,
Oh, God.
it's just something about it. It's kind of like a visceral type thing.
Yep.
And I got to imagine that just kind of the nature of that type of bait and it getting kind of corralled up on the surface by these fish, once it gets up into our zone, you're going to be seeing a lot of video footage of that, and that's going to get people even more fired up.
Oh,
So
100%.
I'm kind of excited to see that.
Hey, Anthony, you remember the popper guy? Do you remember the name of those poppers? I was going to ask you if you...
Clear, he would know what they are.
They're clear popper. The guy was...
Oh, Clear Choice?
No.
Well, there's a bunch of clear poppers
Yeah, I
now.
know. I figured that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to remember. The guy was a super nice guy, though.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. He gave me a ton of those for our 8-day trip.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and of course, you know,
What color was the
I want to
packaging?
repay the man for his sponsorship. I can't remember the name.
Black covering, but the thing is like clear with like beads.
Maybe he's watching or somebody. Yeah.
White and black, huh?
Next week, I'll take good care of you. Not good to forget the man that took care of you so well.
Yeah.
No, I blew that.
So
didn't
for all
I?
you guys that want to support Phil,
Yeah,
he will be sure to.
he won't even
forget.
remember who you are a week later.
So
Oh my God, why am I having such a rough night? Do you have an energy drink back there
I do.
with no calories in it?
Can't guarantee that, but
Well, Anthony's gonna go look.
Anthony can go.
Tony
Check that out.
Russo, Sam, I bought a. Hey, Tony, you're okay with these numbers? GPX 76 Viper blank from you on Friday. I saw gray foam grips in the booth. Do you have more at the shop that may fit that blank? The ones in the booth were too narrow.
I'd have to look. That's something that is kind of like some old stock from CalStars. They used to do a lot of different color Hypalon, and I think they still have some there. I don't think that the gray stuff was available in very many inside diameters, and so there's a pretty good chance that that's not going to be the case. That maybe it won't be available. But next time I go down there, I'll kind of look around and see if something like that's available and around.
All right, perfect. Chris Navarro says, Michael, eat all the meat off those wings. Yes, we had to train Michael about
Well,
that,
he's done.
didn't we? Only beer. You only have beer back there now.
Yeah, you can have that.
Well, that's not going to help me. Shoot. Tim Marquez, the tax man, says, hey, fellas,
What's up, Tim?
Good to hear from you, man. I'm trying to hook up with you. As a matter of fact, we'll get together here soon. Robert Graber, thanks, Sam, for the autograph on the special edition Nomad.
Oh, yeah, right.
Added to my limited edition Mad Mac from the previous 2 years.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Did you sell those out?
No. The trolling gear this year, to be honest with you, wasn't really the deal. Guys weren't really fired up on buying a whole lot of trolling stuff. I know some of the other booths had even like half off Mad Max, and they only sold so many. So we'll see. With this tuna, that when it shows up, if it's more of a trolling type thing, we'll see if that kind of stuff turns up again. But we did sell some though. I mean, for us, we sell a lot of that kind of lure, especially the DTXs for the guys that go long range fishing and targeting wahoo. And so I think once that time of year comes around again, we're going to sell it just fine. But definitely wasn't really a show item, a show, like a showstopper type of thing.
So did you anticipate that they would sell?
I wasn't really sure, because like I said, the trolling thing has kind of, subsided. I was talking to the guys from Nomad and just kind of getting their feedback on it, and they saw the same thing, so it wasn't anything that had to do so much with it being limited or anything like that. I think in general, the Mad Max, craze, has subsided, but just like everything else, it goes in
What do you
cycles.
attribute that to? It still works, right?
Well, I don't know if it's as exclusively working as good as other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think that those years where it worked, it was just a special time in which a lot of people had just bought their boat, because of COVID and because not being able to do a lot of different things, in public. Guys bought boats so they can go fishing or and do a lot of that kind of stuff. I mean, from what I understand, that year prior to the Mad Max craze was the highest ever for boat registrations in California. So there was just a ton of new boaters, And the other part of it is with the other methods that get you those fish, being the kite, because you're not really going to fish daytime. You're not going to fish nighttime. A lot of those small skiffs, you just,
Right.
it's not something you're going to do.
Right.
And so, and then when you get into this kite thing, that's a little bit more involved, as far as, the helium and the balloon, a different kite rod, flying fish, rigging, and all that kind of stuff. The guys during those Mad Max years were still doing good on the kite. It wasn't like the kite wasn't working, but with so many guys coming in new to it, that Mad Max and how good it did work, it was easy limits, so guys were doing really, really well. But now that the kind of kite bite came back stronger, and maybe some of those guys ended up learning how to use the kite, that kind of kite thing really did come back. And then also too, to run those Mad Max, because of the speed that you are having the best success is typically a very low efficiency speed.
Yeah.
So you factor that in, and these guys that even though they probably caught a lot of fish, probably burned a lot more fuel than they really wanted to.
Yeah.
And so they probably factored that in, to their fuel bill for the year and thought, well, maybe we need to learn this kite thing because on the kite you're drifting more. So that's the only thing, from the outside looking in, the only thing that I can attribute it to. You're right, they still work, they still catch fish. I still have customers who use them and do very well with them. But, it could be a different thing too, maybe the fish and how they're staging up, so we'll see what happens this year.
Yeah. By the way, I talked to the guys over there that were spooling.
Yeah.
They were well over 1,500, like, I don't know what day it was.
1,500 reels?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I
Yeah.
bet they did 2,000.
That's crazy.
Because I think that was Saturday.
I mean, I believe it. If you think about that, 2,000 reels sold at the show. That is a lot of reels. I don't
Yeah.
have any numbers as to what it was in years past. For the hall shows, at Long Beach. I gotta imagine it was in that ballpark,
Yeah.
at times. But yeah, I mean that's a lot of reels, And for us, we sold a ton of reels. I mean, we sold obviously a bunch of Macairas again. We killed it on the Macairas once again. And I want to credit Okuma for really working with us on that and making that available to everybody. But we went heavy. We went heavy on the Macaira order. We anticipated there being kind of a large demand. And even then we still sold out of some stuff. Macaira 16 sold out of. I think a lot of the 50 in certain colors were sold out. The 15 Ts for the most part were sold out. And I bought a bunch. I doubled down on even those. And we sold out of those, and
Wow.
even the standard colors. So it was amazing, and I'm just kind of happy that they had stock and were able to they anticipated a good show, and I'm sure they hoped that we were going to follow suit by ordering. Well, we did, and it worked out, So from what I saw at Long Beach, that's maybe one of the things that I can kind of give credit to Long Beach giving us an insight. As soon as Long Beach was over, I was telling Anthony, man, you got to get in here. I need to order a bunch of these things because I anticipate having the same situation. And we did. We ordered a bunch of reels.
Nice.
And it paid off. So it was awesome. I'm sure Anthony can attest to that. The first day he was there hanging out, it was wild. Bob was, Gifford was there too.
Yeah.
And he was like,
He was
man,
shooting his photo. He shouldn't have been doing that.
it was crazy. Even Bob was like, at first he came in. And was kind of just waiting for it to be time for the show to start.
Yeah.
And he bought the reel and Anthony bought his reel and as soon as people started coming in, it was mayhem.
Was it?
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. So that was
I
cool.
knew they were going to beeline for your booth. And
Yeah.
Yeah, there was too much
So it was
chatter
really cool.
going on out
Yeah,
there. And,
yeah.
you could see that was going to happen. All right, good stuff. Reggie Wynn. I love Reggie. Do you know Reggie?
Yeah, I fished with him at Cedros.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Super good guy. Reggie, it was so good to see you over there at the Seeker booth. He says, don't forget, I can be your backup security man. Man, he could, too. No, Reggie, I want to go down there on the Mission Bell and film you guys. The whatever mafia that is.
Mission Bell Mafia.
Mission Bell Mafia.
I got to talk to those guys, see if I can squeeze myself on one of those trips. That'd be awesome.
Let's go, man,
That'd be
and then I'll
awesome,
film
yeah.
it. That would
pretty
be
cool.
really fun. And then, Reggie, don't worry about it. I'll bring Anthony, my other security guy, so you can actually fish. You don't have to worry about somebody mugging me or anything. All right, let's see. Big Block 760 got the last Macaira 16 Dorado color on Thursday. Things were crazy the first hour. Thanks, Sam. I am.
You got it, man. Yeah, every day, we try to bring more stuff. Obviously, we can't bring the whole store. Everyone always says, "Oh, you must bring the whole store," but we can't. There's too much. So we brought as much as we thought we would sell that day. And even with that, we ran out of stuff the first day. Every day we would run out of certain things, and I would come back and say, "Well, let's see what we got." But yeah, he's right. I think he got the last one that day. I had two more left here. I brought those, and then those sold right away.
Is that what my kid bought from you?
He bought a 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He did?
Yeah, he bought the bigger one. Yeah.
Whoa, good stuff. Michael Limon, showing that he is truly a gentleman, says, thank you, Sam, for the wings.
You're welcome, Michael.
Good job, Michael. I like hearing that kind of stuff. Justin B. Michael tried to trip me before the show, by the way.
Was he successful?
Oh, close. Very close.
He could try again.
I'm tired enough where I almost went down.
Yeah, that would have been
and
bad.
that would have been a shame because nobody was videotaping.
Oh.
You got to get that on video. Justin B. Sam, are you carrying the Flowful Works swim bait? Those baits are sick. I hope they can cure them. Saw them at your PCS booth.
Yeah, that's a product that Lucky Craft is going to be importing. It's really unique. It's the one that I showed here last week.
Yep.
And they sold really, really well, actually. So I imagine getting those in here. That was kind of a tester, first time for them coming in to the U.S. It's a Japanese bait. And so as soon as they get settled over there, we're going to order some more. We'll have them in stock. I don't have them right now. But we'll have them, I'm sure, in the next couple of weeks.
Fantastic. My advice to you all tonight is if you have a question, put it up there, because the minute there are no more questions, Sam's going to say, let's go. I'm done. Current Jam. Hey, guys. Sam, great to see you at the PCS show. On a 3-day trip at the end of May, what size fish do they generally get that time of year? I will tell you this before you answer, that spotter plane dope, those fish were most all of them over 100.
Yeah.
Like that 100 to 150. The Mexican commercial fleet normally is done. They are not done this year.
They're not.
The reason they're not done, though, is I was talking to Paul Strasser. I was talking to Brian, and he was telling me they're super picky this year. They don't want anything under 200.
Yeah.
Nothing. So they're leaving that 60 to 90, 100, 150 alone. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess guys want to catch 200.
Yeah,
too,
I want the big ones too. Yeah.
yeah, but they're being really picky. They're getting close. They're getting real close.
So that's one of the other things too, especially like you mentioning, that kind of makes a little bit sense as to why they haven't had a big catch yet, is that those guys being picky like that fish gets kind of like, run over a lot, And so especially if they're looking for a very specific size, and for the guys that don't know the reason, you would think, well, they just want to sell a bigger fish. But what it is that when they bring that stuff back into the pens, they have to feed it until it gets to a certain size. It's a premium size. And then that's when they're going to harvest it and then sell it. Well, the smaller it starts, the more you got to feed it to get to the size they need it to be.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure that's kind of what they got in the works. Maybe they have, more of a demand for a certain size fish. So, but that being said, that's probably going to make them a little squirrely until those quotas are filled, or maybe until they kind of just get a little further north. So maybe those first contacts that we're going to be having are going to be kind of a lot of chasing them around and stuff like that. But I think once it finds that bait, it's gonna settle in real good. As far as your trip in May,
it's hard to say. Every year is different.
Generally, if I were to look at the last 100 years, the average size would probably be 5 pounds.
Yeah, really.
In May for a 3-day trip.
Yeah.
But looking at the last couple of years, and what we're seeing now, I would say anywhere between 20 to 250 pounds is going to be if you just lock in on that size, that's the kind of gear you want to take,
Yeah.
So I know it's going to be tough.
Current
honestly,
jamming. Also, there's going to be a lot of 18 to 25 pound albacore around too.
Oh, yeah.
Factor that in, please.
So you got to make sure you keep in line your quotas, Yeah, you may catch them all in one day.
Bill Dupree said it too.
I said it first, so yeah. But anyways, yeah. I would say that at this point right now, be prepared for everything from 25-pound tests to 50-pound tests, your normal stuff. As the trip gets closer and closer, you're going to probably see some of these catches start to happen. And if they start catching larger tuna, then you're going to have to factor in your 60, 80, and 100-pound. But it is going to be kind of all over the place. There's going to be some trips that go out there and catch a whole bunch of like 15 to 40-pound fish. And then at night, they'll catch some 200-pounders. So when I give that range, it is pretty true, especially that time of year where we really haven't established a pattern quite yet. It's so hard to say, So unfortunately, it's one of those answers where it's kind of a wait and see thing.
Yeah, for sure. That's why God created the morning briefing. That's right.
Follow that, yeah.
Mad Dog is sitting right there. He says, "Hey, Michael."
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, Mad Dog.
Hi, Mad Dog.
Hey,
what
Matt.
the hell's going on here? Pokey Dad fishes. Sam, it was nice seeing good number of reels purchased from islands while I was checking receipts. Crazy show, ready for next year.
Yeah, checking receipts. I'm not sure. Maybe he was at another booth.
Line booth.
Was at the other
That's
booth?
right. He was over there, so he saw
So
it.
he probably saw the reels coming over. Yeah,
He did see him. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be the indicator right there. They would know exactly how many reels were sold. I would imagine every single. Well, until they cut it off, because there was cut off an hour or two before the day was closed. So they didn't even fill all the reels that were sold because guys bought them at the end of the day and just
Oh, right.
didn't go over.
He said he saw a ton of Macairas come through.
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, I would imagine, just as a guess, between all the vendors, I mean, there must have been 200 or more Macairas sold, I would think.
Wow.
Yeah, which is, it's incredible. For a very specific use reel, not only is it specific, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about a $100 item, It's pretty intense.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, Polka Dot, do you know how many reels you guys did over there? The total on that? I think you told me 1,500 when I came over there with Philip. I would be very curious to know more or less what the total was. Sniper Gene, Sam, do you know when the new 9-foot Okuma Rockaway SP will be available?
I don't remember my Akuma rep Anthony. He brought me one over for me to check out, and he did have a release date or when they thought they were going to have it in. I don't remember right away, but I'm going to text him right now and see if he responds.
All right, good stuff. Chris Navarro says he was watching an East Coast captain on YouTube. Shouldn't be doing that, Chris. You should only be watching Friedman Adventures. And he was buying up all kinds of reels before the big 25% Trumpian tariffs kick in. He stated that only 3 pen models, Accurate and Avid, are made in the good old USA, Estados Unidos de America.
Well, yeah, I mean, so there's a couple things. There was a guy that, for whatever reason, believes that on the East Coast they couldn't get a certain reel, and so I think he was. I had heard that maybe just his shop couldn't get him. I don't know what, but he was buying reels to resell back east. As far as the reels are concerned, I will tell you this, Chris, that even those reels, because they do probably use parts or aluminum or some raw goods from overseas, you may see some increase, in prices on those too. So I don't know if that's going to be totally the situation as far as this tariff thing.
All right, very good. And April Bean says, hello, April. Thank you so much. Welcome to Tackle Shop Confessions tonight. Good to have you with us. Hector X, it was a pleasure meeting you. Sam, I was there Thursday and Island Fishing Tqckle was packed. I passed by 3 times and I finally got to say hi to Sam. Thank you for the Taddy and Tungsten jigs.
You got it, man. So I just got a response from Anthony on that rod.
Yeah.
And he said end of May, early June is the target time. So.
Okay, great. How's that for service, everybody?
Man.
Love it. April Bean says, hope all is well. We hope the very same for you, April. Charles Emmer from Z Custom Rods, the president of the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club. What else does Chuck do? Everything. Chuck's a multi-talented guy. Sam, I'm glad you made it through the show season. I was looking through Cedros outfits. What outfitter do you use?
We go with Cedros Sportfishing with Rosie, and the only thing I can say is that that's all I've used, so I can't really use any other comparison. I will say that most of the experience of the trip is on the Panga. I know some of the other resorts have a little bit different this or a little bit different that, and
Like what? Like what?
Maybe the way the bathrooms are,
Oh, okay.
maybe, what kind of TVs they got, or, maybe the one guy makes some saltier food, or the other guy makes more steak, and the other guy
Okay.
makes more kind of,
Gotcha.
little details like that. And I've heard it all, because we get all kinds of people that fish with this guy and that guy, and they'll comment, like,
Yeah.
well, I like the pillows over here, or I don't know, I mean, stuff like that, right? To me, that's stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
in
right.
a sense, because I'm down there to fish. You're
Right.
really fishing most of the time. When you get back, you're pretty beat. I don't think it would matter where you would sleep.
Yeah, really.
Honestly. But that being said, the island, and not only the island, but the way that the residents of the island have taken care of that resource has really that's the whole prize. That's the whole trip, the whole experience is really the resource that the island is, and as a result of just the way that they've taken care of it down there, it's a pretty big deal. I've been fortunate enough to talk to a lot of the captain, or a few of the captains, the ones that I've fished with, but even other guys there in general, and it's kind of a big deal. Conservation, not keeping more than your limit. I mean, this is Baja, but it's not Baja like if you were going to go fish like Tony Reyes or maybe fish Ensenada or San Quintin or places like that where, you know, I mean, if you want, you could bring back a couple hundred calico bass if you wanted, or you could bring back 10 coolers full of rock cod if you wanted, you know.
Yeah.
You know, Baja is the kind of place that kind of has that reputation, you know.
Yeah.
You can kind of go down there and catch as much as you want, and that's why people like going down there.
Yeah.
They go to Ensenada, they go with their favorite captain and
Load up.
and they load up. You know, they pretty much fish until the cooler's full every day. You know, and so typically when they come back with a cooler full of fillets. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, that's kind of what it's known for. You know, for the guys that haven't gone down there.
Yeah.
And why it's so popular. In Cedros, it's not the case. They're very strict on the limits. They're very strict on conservation, on throwing back the big ones, all that kind of stuff. You would think they wouldn't care. You just, you know, you go down there and, hey, Captain, take me over there and catch me a bunch of fish.
Yeah.
It's really not like that, you know. So it's something that they've done a lot of work. Even with the pens and the resource there of bait, it used to be that the pens, that the tuna pens were further south, and they would take a lot of the bait from Cedros.
Like Ensenada, that's a problem.
And that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And so they've actually had some regulations. That is part of the whole thing that doesn't allow the long-range boats to go down there and fish, is that they fall within that kind of, you know, law or whatever, or
Yeah.
stipulation. And so that's something that they've done. Now, granted, you know, everyone's, you know, myself included, there's probably better ways to do that. I don't think that the long-range boats have that much of an impact down there, but that is the law, and you know, fortunately, you know, our boats kind of abide by it, and they fish yellowtail at other places. I'm sure you know, you guys had great yellowtail
Yeah.
fishing on your trip.
Yeah.
But it is a special place, you know, and the island and its residents and whoever's in charge of taking care of that resource has done such a good job. I mean, it is the kind of place that it's almost incredible how good it is down
I
there.
know.
You know? I mean,
I know.
it is fishing in an aquarium, you know. I mean, it's not the place that's gonna like prove anybody as far as their fishing skills. You know, if you go down there, you're not gonna really, you know, feel like you broke up, you know, some kind of like code that you figured something out. Like if you were to catch something off like PV or, you know, off the Santa Monica Pier, it'd be like, wow, that's
man.
something. Yeah, down there, kind of anybody can catch them. But you know, it's fun. You know, it's fun.
Heck yeah.
And the fish pull hard, and they're willing. You know, it's a really, really awesome place. So, but that's who we fish with, Cedros Sportfishing. I feel like Rosie does an awesome job of making it all seamless, meaning that you just got to show up with your stuff, to get down there on time, show up with your stuff, and you don't do anything else. She pretty much holds your hand right to the airplane.
You go out of Tijuana, right?
Yeah, through the CBX.
Right.
And she
And
takes
that's
care of all
easy.
that. It's super easy. She
Yeah.
takes care of all your permits, your fishing license, visas, all the paperwork that needs to be done. You literally don't have to do anything except, you know, pay your money and get down there and fish. So it's pretty awesome.
All right. That sounds so good, man. Cedros sounds like a great place to fish. I fished at long range, but I haven't done it that way, so that's looking good. So Polka Dot Fishes, who was putting line on the reels at the show, said, I don't know the exact numbers quite yet. We should have the final numbers soon. I'll keep you posted. Man, we really appreciate that very, very much. I do know that we are at the over from last year's count of 1,400.
Yeah.
So,
Easily. Yeah. That's pretty awesome, man.
Jay, great show. Always look forward to this. Jay, thank you so much. Sam picked up an Alejos 12 S2.
Yeah.
I was thinking loading it with 60-pound. What kind of rod can I pair it with? Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, it's a pretty versatile reel. I would say something between 7 and 8 foot, rated, you know, somewhere in that 30 to 80, maybe even up 40 to 100. That reel is very, very versatile. You know, one of the things that you kind of get with reels and rods is you know, when you're trying to match things up, is that because of Spectra and because of the reels just having so much power, so much drag, 2-speed reels, you know, they have a huge range. A reel like that, I mean, realistically can be fished from 30 pound to almost 100 pound. And rods just don't have that kind of range. They're either a 40 pound rod or a 50 pound rod or a 60 pound rod. Now there's some rods that, you know, you can probably, maybe it's a light 80 pound rod that you could fish 60 on or something along lines like that. But I'd be looking, if I was looking at an Ocala Star, I'd probably be looking at like an 875 XH or double XH. In the United Composites, I would be looking at something like a Predator or a Terminator, something like that. and then maybe in a seeker like a 7650, 7660 would be the kind of rods. And the same thing would be like for an 8-foot CalStar, you're looking at like an 800 XH or double XH, something like that.
All right, great stuff. Chuck Zimmer, Z Custom Rods. Do you carry a rail rod foregrip that's not a cold shrink, but a heavy rubber?
Chuck, you know what I can get for you is that a rail dog foregrip. It's kind of like a 2-piece thing where it has an EVA, a core that you actually will remount, and it has a hard rubber outside. I can get those from Batson. I think that depending on what you're looking for, I kind of would have to see what you're looking for. If you're talking about the stuff that's like on the Seeker rods, I think it's fuel hose or something like that. It's not really a fishing product. I think that some of the things that some guys use is something like that. But I would say this though, that as far as I'm concerned, I really don't really see a huge need for anything other than a high quality Hypalon. But I do realize that once a guy sees something that is extra tough, then they're going to want that. And if they see something that's extra tough, then they're going to want that. And if they want something that's extra tough, then they want that one. So, but that being said, none of my rods have any of that kind of extra stuff, and I've done just fine. I would really say something like that is probably really only applicable to maybe that boat rod. You know, something that's going to be used trip after trip, hundreds and hundreds of fish. I think now you're talking, you need something like that. But for the average guy that might fight 1 or 2 150-pound fish a year, I don't really see a big need for it. But once again, I think if it's available, people want it.
All right, cool. Sure. Good stuff. Hey, are there any chicken wings left?
No.
You crook. All right. Current Jam. Do you have a Cedros trip scheduled? I'd love to join.
We do. We have 2 trips, one at the end of May and one at the beginning of September. Currently, they are all full, but you can call down to Cedros Sportfishing and get yourself on the wait list. We do have people that drop off kind of last minute all the time, so there's a possibility of getting on. I will say that getting yourself on the wait list for even next year, you want to get on that wait list this year to be able to get on those trips. It's just because it is such a limited thing. There's only 12 people that are that fit on that airplane. So these trips are only 12 people, and so it's just a short list. So it's hard to get on.
Yeah.
But you'll never get on if you never call. So, you know, I already had 2 guys that got on this year on my September trip that weren't on it last year.
Oh, great.
So it is possible to get on, and I'm sure I'll have 1 or 2 more guys kind of switch out like that as the year goes on. So, call down there, call Cedros Sport Fishing. And you may even ask her just what's available, you know, type of thing. And maybe even if you don't get out with us, you can just get going on another trip. But if you want to get on our trip, just mention to her to put you on our wait list.
And I'll look forward to your awesome video. Current Jam, you guys do great work. Charles Zimmer, you know what company he's from? Z Custom Rods.
Z Custom Rods.
Boy, I like the price point of an Abbott HX on my jig rods. I do have a Saltiga 55 on one of them.
That's very nice of him to say that.
What?
It was more of a statement than a question.
I know it was. Salty Rod 365. How much is this year's 5-day trip on the Independence? I actually know that now because a gentleman walked up and asked me when I was at the booth, and I said, I don't know. And I asked Brian, it's $2,500. I think it's limited to 26, but I would definitely go to the website. It's www.independencesportfishing.com. That trip is the 21st through the 26th, and Sam guarantees that is going to be a great trip. Obviously, you can't guarantee that, but...
No, I do guarantee it.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, man. He's guaranteeing it.
It's $50. It's $50 extra for the warranty, though. Yeah. You can pay ahead.
But things are lining up, and it's looking like a great trip, isn't it?
I mean, if I was on the trip, I'd have a good time.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a good time. You know, Scott Buchert is not on this trip. He's on the 8-day trip. So we're going to have a great time.
Great time.
The Cranker's on it. Mike Krankovich.
Yep.
Does he come in there?
No, I saw him at the show, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Who else is on it?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Man.
Yeah.
You need to fix that.
All right. How about Chris Navarro? My casting improved after each Cedros trip. lots of casting all day long. Sport fishing capital of the world for yellowtail and calico bass. Definitely a bucket list for any saltwater angler. And Chris is absolutely right, because that constant repetition of casting that maybe you don't get when you go on an offshore boat, because you never stop on a school of fish, or you stop on two. But there, I'm sure you're just chucking iron all day long.
Well, the other part of it too is that because of it's such a high success rate, I think that casting in general, casting surface iron in general, is one of those things that you have to locally. I think you just have to love to cast.
Yes.
You have to be the kind of person that just loves to cast. It's kind of like people that own boats. You almost have to love the boat more than the fishing, because you're going to be doing a lot more boating than actually fishing.
Yeah.
As far as maintenance all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Well, surface iron fishing, a lot of it is loving the casting part of it. And so one of the things that makes it hard to be motivated is you go out there, you do it for an hour, not a sniff, and plus the other guy down there at the stern just got 3 of them in a row. You're just like, oh,
fishing bait.
it's not even worth it,
Right.
And so it's hard to be motivated. And so gaining that repetition and the motivation to do it is just so hard to do. At Cedros, it's the opposite. You're going to be casting, but you're going to hook so many fish that I think that your motivation and your confidence that it's a worthwhile endeavor is way, way higher. And so I think that alone is going to make you a good caster, because just your motivation to keep doing it and to do it at a high level, especially after even one trip, it's just way higher. So I think once you go fishing down there, like he said, I know he went fishing with me a few times on some spring 8-day trips back in the day. And once you go down there and see what they have to offer, I just can't see any reason or anybody who wouldn't want to just be better at that. So yeah, he's right completely.
Breaking news from Charles Zimmer from Z Custom Rods. He got his hands on the new Cal Star 9.5, and it will be up for raffle on the 24th
Wowzers.
at Tackle Shop Convention. That's a big one, right?
Yeah. No, he mentioned he was going to get one.
Yeah.
And so I told him, yeah, that's a pretty cool prize, man. I'll probably buy a couple tickets for that one.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
Chuck, way to go, man. That's awesome. And I can't wait for that now. That's going to be a lot of fun. And on the 23rd, the day before, we'll be down on the corner of Anderson and Pacific Coast Highway for another one of our surf fishing extravaganza. I'm going to start my birthday out by
awesome.
yes. I'm going to be 26. And it's going to be great. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Michael Limon will be there. Paulina is going to come up. Going to wear a bikini at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's going to be fantastic, let me tell you. She's going to, I hope she's not listening. She'll kill me. All right. Jake is with us now. Jake Weingarten. Jake, thank you so much. Why do I always see people with 25-pound setups with reels with 30-plus pounds of drag pressure? It seems redundant. Isn't a 1-to-4 ratio with drag pressure to line weight? Thanks as always, guys. Thank you, Jake, very much.
So I would say this. 25-pound, looking at that, you would think you would need 8 pounds of drag. I don't know if they even make any reels that have 8 pounds of drag anymore. So, a lot of it is just the technology and the design of reels today. They just make a lot more drag than they used to, One of the things that you'll find, too, just mechanically, just to kind of explain, the gears in today's reels, because of the high gears, they're a lot bigger than, let's say, a Jig Master or before, even than a 4.0. So you may take a small reel that's the size of a squitter.
Yeah.
That has the gearing that's about the size of a 9.0 from before. And so what that does is that gives you a larger surface area for your drags. And the reason for that is because your drag washers are inside that main gear. Well, what that's going to do is give you more drag. The other part of it is that your spool, being on a smaller reel, has less leverage against it than, let's say, a tall spool. So that tall spool, when you go to pull the drag off of it, it's going to be easier because that lever's longer, whereas that short spool is going to be harder to pull line off of it, making it more drag.
Are you listening to this?
So if you have a reel that's this size, let's say, with a gear that's this size, and if you have a reel that's this size with a gear that's this size, that smaller reel is actually going to make more drag.
Gotcha.
So part of it is just the design of reels. I think probably confused everybody here. But
I almost fell asleep.
But
actually.
basically, the design of reels, it's just they make so much drag because the gears are so big. So I don't think you can get a reel that's that small anymore that doesn't make that much drag.
Good stuff,
Alrighty.
Jake. You're totally confused now. Jake's like, I didn't ask that question.
That's what you get.
Calico Chris Rank, the founder of Colder Ice. I saw Calico Chris there many times. He had professional photographers floating around with him. It was a beautiful thing, and he did great. Colder Ice, Brian, had a fun time. Our very first show was a hit. It's been almost 2 years of building this brand. The event proves my vision is possible, no matter what struggles life can bring.
Cool.
Why are you smiling?
I am?
Yeah,
I
you look like
was
you're-
looking something up here.
I improved my vision. I went to the Dollar Tree and I got those dollar glasses. Improved my vision right up like
That's all you got to do, yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Chris. We're really happy you did so well, and I know you kicked butt at that thing. Let's see. Oh, Chris Navarro.
Chris Navarro.
Phil, I'm going hunting for the first time soon. Since you're so good at predicting albacore, what is the chance of us shooting a dodo bird? Excellent, I would say.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, a dodo bird, or let's see, I'm predicting, I don't even know anything about hunting or
Yeah.
birds or anything. Do you?
No.
Do you know the name of like the ducks? Hey, he brought a duck, what do you call it? A duck caller?
Duck
Yeah.
calls?
It sounds real.
Yeah,
as hell. Pretty cool. No, I'm sorry, Chris. I'm going to have to let you down on that one. Salty Raw 365. Just found out after owning it for a few years that Saltiga reels have a 5-year service warranty for anyone like me that didn't know. Meaning free servicing for 5 years. That's a hell of a bargain. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. It's in the box. But who looks at the box anymore, right? You just get your reel out. You just want to go fishing,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's something that they provide. It's a kind of a 5-year like platinum program or something that they call like that. But yeah, that's another big value with those Saltiga reels. Okuma does something like that too, where they do a 5-year service on their larger reels. Not every single reel, but yeah, that Daiwa deal is pretty cool.
All right, good stuff. And well over 100 people finally came back after I had 2 false starts on shows
Why don't
tonight.
you do it again? See if you
Want me
can
to?
get it back
Here.
up.
I thought you were out of this, but more questions are coming in. So, hey, Raymond Pacheco. Raymond, great to see you, my friend. What's up, guys? It's really good to have you here. Chris Rank is back again. Colder Ice. Stay true to yourself and your goals. Are you listening to this? This is a good thing for a young man. Stay true to yourself and your goals. I'm grateful for the journey. I couldn't have done it without my family, friends, and those who believe in the brand. Fishing more than a sport. Fishing is more than a sport. Thank you. I actually met Chris's parents, 2 really lovely people, very proud of him for what he
Nice.
did. So really good stuff, Chris. Nice going, buddy. Raymond Pacheco. Hold on one second. Aside from fishing, have you guys considered hunting, or have you ever hunted before? I have not.
I have not. No.
I'm not against hunting. I don't have
Yeah.
anything against it. I do. So this is not me. I mean,
This is you.
this is me.
Okay.
I'm not against hunting, but when I was a little kid, I shot a bird with a BB gun, and then I went over and the bird was like, bleeding, and I'm like, I felt like crap.
You did?
I did.
I didn't.
I never felt
shot a
that,
lot of 'em.
I never felt that way about. I never felt that way about fish, but and I'm certainly not opposed to killing animals because I love my frickin' cows and everything else. But yeah, I don't know that.
The thing that I felt bad about
Yeah.
was after summer, they wouldn't come around anymore. They were all gone. But
You killed them all.
Yeah, I don't know if I killed them all, but they wouldn't come around. They told all their friends, they're like, man, don't go by that house anymore.
Where was this going on?
At my parents' house, they got me a BB gun, and I was practicing.
So the guy asked if you ever went hunting.
I mean,
Of
I
course
don't know
you
if that's
did.
hunting.
That's hunting.
Yeah, I guess in a way, yeah. They were hunted, but yeah, I mean, I would always try to kill like the biggest bird. They're the hardest. The crows, those things are tough, man. Every time you shoot them, see a couple feathers come out, but
They fly away.
They fly away, yeah. You have to hit them just right.
All right, Raymond, I'm up for it though, man. If you're gonna go hunting, take me along. I'll videotape it or do whatever. Current jam. I'm going to bring my Sargasso 14,000 on my next tuna trip. I hope they don't throw me overboard.
I hope they don't either.
Yeah, why would they do that?
Oh, because of the reel? I thought maybe for another reason.
Oh, maybe. Huh?
No, you'd be okay, man. Yeah. Just hunker down and don't let your feet come off the deck, man.
Oh,
You'll
that's
be all
Current
right.
Jam. Yeah, that's right. The Fishing Cowboy. I remember the Fishing Cowboy.
Yeah, he was here.
Yes, he was. Sam, that Macaira 15T Dorado with the 80-pound Spectra is bad ass. Am I allowed to say that?
That's a Rentis right
I'm just
there.
reading this, yeah. On my fishing syndicate, 760 XH Dorado. Good that you don't have a whole bunch of numbers in there, or I wouldn't have read it. Rail rod, man, this setup to me is absolutely unmatched.
It is unmatched. You're right. I'm sorry, I was reading the comment.
Tim, I didn't say it.
Yeah. You want me to say something after every comment?
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
If I look at you, it's your turn to say something. Like,
I wasn't looking at you. I didn't know.
you sure there's no more chicken wings?
Sure.
You ate them all?
Yeah.
Is there anything over there?
No.
Oh. All right.
Actually, I bet you if you put together all the meat that was left over, you
yeah,
come up
no
with one.
thanks. Yeah. Go ahead and show the camera. Don't show me. Oh, show the camera now. Show everybody what you did. While I move on, thank you very much to the cranker. The cranker's here, Mike Krinkovich. I called him Cranker earlier today, I think, and he corrected me and said the cranker. So named by Scott Butcher, by the way. On the way back from 22nd Street Landing Studio, that's right, he was there for the Danny Kadota Show. A check back at PVIC at 6 p.m. They were watching 4 to 7 gray whales total for the day. Should be way up over 12 plus for the day. So, you know, the ladies up there, Elisa Schulman-Janiger, you're probably not in on this.
Oh, yeah.
She's a scientist who sits up there on PV and then watches the whale and records.
Lisa, right?
Yeah, Elisa.
Elisa. Oh, that's
Elisa.
right.
Very lovely lady.
Oh, yeah.
Calm
She's so
down.
great.
Anyway, they saw how many whales? 12 plus.
12
A lot
plus
of northbound grays going.
So that's the
by there.
PV something center, right?
Yeah, up there, Point Vincenti.
Yeah, Point Vincenti
You don't
something
care.
center.
You don't care about gray whales.
Intercontinental
Ballistic
Center.
gray whales.
Yeah. Yeah, I go there all the time. I live like 2 doors down from it.
Dave says I need to go snipe hunting. I've been snipe hunting before. Have you?
What's snipe hunting?
You don't know what it is? Honestly? You really don't?
I don't.
You don't know what freaking snipe hunting
Okay,
is?
I do. I was lying the order 8 times you asked me right now.
All
But
right,
yeah,
well,
now I
snipe
know.
hunting is you used to tell a guy, we're going snipe hunting, you give him a gunny sack. There's no such thing as a snipe.
Okay.
So he runs around the whole time looking for... Huh?
Snipe is real.
Oh, snipes are real.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, well,
Well,
snipe
you don't know what it is either, apparently.
I guess not. I mean, that was... Did you remember what I'm saying?
Yeah, they send you out there in the desert and you got these jumping cactus get on your leg.
Yeah, right.
You catch these stupid birds that ain't there. You go back, all the grown-ups are laughing at you. Yeah, you dummy.
All right, everybody, you're going to Google snipe. He says they're real. Dan and I, when we were growing up, that was the deal. They were not real, and that was the whole joke about the whole
They
thing.
do that at summer camp. They prank them.
The prank at summer
They
camp.
prank. All right, very good.
That's a snipe.
There's a snipe right there.
There you go.
That
All
looks
this,
like-
all this time, your whole life, you've been
That's
wrong.
not a... That's a bird in the ocean.
It's a snipe.
That's not the ocean. It's just a puddle.
It's just a photo. There ain't no snipes out there.
There's no snipes in the desert. That's where you go to do this.
Okay.
I'm
Let's come off the rails here. Let's get back on.
no,
let's
it's not
get
off
back-
the rails yet.
let's get
you
back
want to
on.
see off the rails? Hang on. Let's see. Chris Navarro, see what you started, David, with that snipe nonsense. How about a woolly mammoth?
How about that?
How about that?
I think Chris is enjoying his evening at the moment.
Is he talking about? Oh, you mean yes, imbibing a little bit? Is that what you're
Could be.
suggesting?
Could be.
What is he talking about? Hunting for a woolly mammoth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris,
He's
I like
He's
it.
having a great evening. Thank you, Chris.
Charles Zimmer. We were talking albacore on Danny's show earlier. Do you have rods that would match that fishing if it changes? What do you mean, Chuck? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
Sam knows it. I know it.
Yeah.
Michael Limon, who ate all the chicken wings, knows it. The snipe man out here knows it.
Yeah. So I would say this, even though, I'm supposed to try to sell everybody everything, the rod you have at home, a 20-pound rod, is going to be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back in the day, we would fish with 30-pound line and a 6480 it would work. The one thing about albacore, one of the reasons that we love albacore is that they're easy to catch. They are not challenging, guys. And I think that even though we all talk about it like if it's this great, grandiose kind of like if it was swordfish or something like that, if you catch one, you're now entered into fishing heaven or something like that. They are very easy to catch. You'll be able to catch them on all your gear, on Alexa 400, Alexa 300, Alexa 500. You'll be able to catch them on all that gear.
So would you say a white sea bass is easy to catch? Not hook. I mean, they're enigmatic and they don't bite.
Yeah.
Once you hook them, they're easy to catch.
Yeah, they're easy to
Super
wind in.
easy to catch.
Yeah, easy
Yeah.
to wind in. Yeah,
But
I would say.
you say that because we've been fishing all our lives. You take some novice guy and hang him on a 40-pound sea bass, and you and I are going to say, yeah, it's not that difficult. He's going to say, whoa, what the heck is this, man?
I
He's
think
gonna
an
be freaked
albacore is
out.
easier to catch for sure.
Than a sea bass?
Because you're going to hook 100 of them. So you'll get one. Yeah, you may not land
No,
every
I'm
single
just
one.
talking about you hook an albacore here and a sea bass here. What's easier to catch? It's a sea bass.
But that's not a real question. You don't go fishing, hook one fish, and then go sit down. Whereas
Real question. My
it's
question
not.
is real.
When you go sea bass fishing,
I'm
you
allowed
may
to
only
ask
hook
a
one fish.
question.
Yeah. When you go sea bass fishing, you may only hook one fish.
Correct.
When you go albacore fishing, you may only hook one fish. It's possible.
Correct.
But it's more likely that you'll hook a lot of fish.
But we're
And
not
they're
talking
easier.
about that. We're talking about what fish fights harder. In other words,
what fish fights
does
harder?
a blue perch fight harder than
Oh.
a marlin? And then you're going to say, well, you may not catch a blue perch. No, we're not talking about that. What fights harder?
Well, you didn't say that.
Okay. Well,
You
okay.
didn't say
Well,
that.
I'm saying it now.
Okay. Now that you
Yeah.
actually completely extinguished the thought out of your head, I can now answer.
It's not
it.
extinguished. It's living.
Yes.
Living. It's
it's out.
alive.
Now that you've let it out of your head.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I guess a big sea bass fight's pretty good. I mean, they're not.
See, the one thing about albacore is
sure, yeah.
you're never going to get rocked. You're out in
Yeah,
the 500,000
that's
feet of
true,
water.
that's true.
So, that makes it easier.
Now you can fish sea bass on 80-pound though, whereas
Yeah.
maybe albacore's on 25-pound. I mean, you might get in a tangle because there's 40 other guys hooked up.
Who started this?
You did.
Chuck. Oh, I
You
did.
did. Yes.
Well, Chuck Zimmer started it. Chuck.
So nobody talk about albacore anymore because
No, please
his
don't.
mind is a little
Please,
bit.
no. We
a
must
little
talk
mushy.
about. We must talk about
yeah,
albacore. We must. We must.
We bring it up and your mind starts going.
I took my hat
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
man. I'm rubbing my head. I'm like losing my mind.
You can't see the camera when you took your head.
Oh, yeah, I glared everybody up. All right, Jake is back to bring us back to reality. He says, I'm not trying to be negative at all. I've always wondered about that, Sam. Thanks for hooking me up with an Alejos 12 Narrow on Thursday.
See, you called him negative, and now people are getting
Call him
offended.
negative. I don't even know what
He
he's
just
talking
said.
about.
Well, you must have said something.
It must have been that story you were telling where I was like, what the hell? Where's he going with this?
I think what he was talking about, he asked a question about the drag and the reel. So, no, I apologize for my rude answer. That's not what I meant. But I will say that it's because reels are just made with a lot
This
of
is
drag.
going off the rails.
Yeah. I tried to warn you.
Oh, here's another one. I like these deep, thoughtful questions. Michael Limon. Sam, what inspired you to create Island Fishing Tqckle? What inspired you?
Just because I want a good job that I like doing. You know what? I was lucky. To be honest with you, doing this whole thing was kind of an experiment. Inspire is a question that, I guess when you have a family or you have a family on the way, which is kind of what I had going, your motivation, maybe kind of goes up, a little higher than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And so, I just, I can't really say it was one thing, I will say that I've had a lot of experience doing this kind of stuff over the years. One of my first jobs out of high school was working at Turner. So at some point or another, worked on the Redondo barge where I got to talk to 10,000 people a day from all different sizes and ages and experiences. So it's something that I've always enjoyed doing. So I think that for me, I just kind of like once I decide, I think we all have thoughts like that, maybe I'll do this or maybe I'll do that. And
Yeah.
And for some reason, I just decided to take that step. My wife now, my wife now kind of like supported me in that and says, if you think you can do it, go ahead and do it. So I feel like I had I didn't have anybody telling me like,
No, you can't do it.
Yeah,
It's a dumb
or
idea.
try to sense into me or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But at this point now, I'm so fortunate and lucky to have what I have. I feel really lucky. I mean, this is a pretty cool project that's turned out to be able to provide for my family and give me a lot of cool experience. So there isn't one thing. I think it was just kind of really honestly my family. That's if I wanted to choose one thing, it'd be my family.
There it is. Good question, Michael. Really good. And if I had to guess, you're asking that question because maybe you'd like to do something like this in the future sometime.
It's easy.
Well, that wasn't the answer.
You just got to do it.
He said, I don't know. I thought I read his mind. He was thinking about doing something like this. Okay. Chris Navarro, Sam, how did your seminar go Thursday? Did Phil record it? Phil showed up a little late.
Yeah, I was waiting.
I showed up, though.
I was waiting, and they gave me about an hour window. So I said, I don't have much to say. So why don't I just wait for Phil to show up? So I waited for half an hour. He didn't show. I only had about 15 minutes to say. And so I talked for 15 minutes, and it was about 55 minutes in, and I was done. Then he showed up about 5 minutes before that. So he did show up, but
Thank you.
He did not get a chance.
You can
to
ask
record it.
Anthony that I was doing
But
something really important.
He came in
I was
ready.
over schmoozing Paulina.
Yeah, he came in ready. He came in ready for sure. But I think his watch wasn't working or something like that. But no, Chris, it went really good. The location of it, I will be honest, was a little bit off, kind of to the side.
Yeah.
I don't think there was.
It's kind of hard to find that.
Yeah, there
probably.
wasn't a whole lot of signage showing
Right.
that something was
You had
going
a good
on
crowd,
over there.
though.
But we did have 10 or 12 people there, something like that. So I think I started off with 25 people. And by the time you got there, I had like 8 people. So some guys walked away.
I knew I should have showered that day.
Yeah.
Just, I was in a rush. So that's the way it goes sometimes. Hey, Jaiva, all day.
Javi, all day.
Javi, all day. Javier, perdón. Javier, discúlpame, por favor. PCS setup was legit. Easy to flow from one building to the other.
Yeah.
Was he there? Do you know who this is?
No, we were just speaking on your trouble with some of the names. That's all.
I know. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm a little tired. I tried to get an energy drink out of you, and you screwed me.
Well, we got
Tried
some,
to
we got
force
the
a
regular-
beer on an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I heard that.
That
was
wasn't me.
terrible.
That was that guy.
Oh, you're dry. No, he wouldn't do that because he's the same as me, dry. All right, Red Pill sends a $5 bill.
go.
We love you. Super chat. Thank you so much for that. Good evening, gent. Sam, thank you for the deal on the Lefty Abbott and Makaira 15T. Looking forward to building that 7400
Nice.
XXH. Good seeing you as well, Phil. It was great seeing all of you guys, including you, very, very much. I really appreciate it. Chad Christopher, great to see you, Sam, at the show. Happy I got 2 PCS rods from you. Phil, look after that Rogue Wave next time. Thank you so much. Chad signed up for our 5-day trip at the show.
Nice.
Yeah, you're going to love it, Chad.
You still have spots on that?
Yeah, we do have a few left.
When are the dates on that again?
21st of April through the 26th. Why?
I might be able to go.
Really?
Nah.
Well, that would be awesome. That'd be fun. That would really be fun. Man, we'd have so much fun with you.
So much.
Anthony's even threatening. He might go. Who knows?
Ciao.
We might need an extra camera guy on that trip. Current jam. Are the tungsten jigs worth the price? I like the idea of having heavy, smaller profile jigs, but damn, they're pricey.
Yeah.
How much are they?
I get you.
Let me guess.
$50-$60.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks
they're
for
up
letting
there.
me guess.
They're up there. I mean, it's already kind of late enough, man. We got to move this along here.
Oh, you want out of here.
But you know what? Yeah, at times, yes. At times, they are worth it. I mean, I would say that 180-gram jig, to me, we've all used the Colt Sniper 120-gram jig, and it's caught a lot of fish, But a lot of times those fish are just down a little deeper. So you're going to be able to have a jig that is essentially the size of about a 120-gram jig, but weigh an extra 60 grams. And it's just going to get down way, way faster. One of the other things, too, is that guys are doing really well with those things at night. You can get a jig like that because it's a small profile. It's going to sink fast or as fast as a jig that's maybe 200 grams or even bigger. One of the other things, too, that, I was talking to some guys about is that with that jig, you do want to fish with maybe a little bit lighter setup. So instead of fishing with a 50 or something like that, you might fish it with like a 16 or even a 15T. and that lighter weight spool is going to allow it to sink faster as well. So the whole idea behind this is kind of a quote unquote finesse setup, meaning that you're fishing lighter gear and a smaller jig. But if you put all that stuff together, it just allows you to put a smaller presentation in front of these tuna, which is, especially with this anchovy, that we got going on, the smaller jigs might be the deal this year.
That's a good thing. All right, good stuff. Let's go to Chris Navarro, our dear friend Chris. I love Chris. Sam, what's the heaviest tungsten jig that you have or that you can get?
Yeah, so right now I actually just ordered some more heavier jigs. I think they're like a 220 and like a 250, but I think they're going to start getting into that 300 gram range. But once again, I mean, I'm sure they can make a 500 gram jig, or something like that, tungsten jig, but that tungsten is expensive, so you start getting into these bigger jigs like that, you talk about a
$100 jig.
$100 or more, maybe $150 or something like that.
Damn.
But the whole idea behind this is that it's a small presentation, even tungsten, has a limit, I mean, you get 500 grams, it's going to be a large, very large size. So, I think that we all kind of are searching for that giant jig, but the whole idea behind this is that you can go smaller. So kind of put that into the equation that we're trying to get to a smaller jig. And once we start going big, you might as well just use a big lead jig. But we're trying to use a smaller jig. But yeah, they are going to be pricey at that larger size. At even that 300 gram, I think it's like $90 or something like that.
All right, very good. Royalty joins us now. Scott Butchert. You think I'm kidding? He says, tell Mike I'll see him on the 8-day trip.
All right, Mike.
The Cranker. He'll see you there. I don't know why he didn't tell him. Tony Gonzalez says, bring the palomitas now, the popcorn. Robert Graber, let's hear about Michael's reunion with Paulina. Do you want to discuss that or not?
Nah.
You didn't, what, are you afraid of the...
No.
How was it? Was it nice to see Paulina?
Yeah, it was nice.
Okay, and did you say hi to her mother?
Yeah.
And what do you want to tell Robert about it?
Hi, Robert.
Okay, there you go, Robert. That's the Paulina reunion for you right there. Scott Butchert, get ready for an early season. Boy, that put a hex on the whole thing, huh?
Yep, I did it.
Raul Almaraz. Raul, good to see you, my friend. Phil, Sam, what's up, Sam? Was at the show on Thursday and picked up a TTR 93J. What reel would you recommend for our friend Raul for that rod? Thanks, Raul, for being here.
Trinidad 20, that Trinidad 20 is still my favorite jig reel, and that's going to be a good fit on that rod. Trinidad 20.
I'm trying to go fast here now, but I've got to take my hat off one more time again because Chris Navarro hit us with a $20 super chat. Since Michael ate all the wings, get some more. Love the show. You guys make Monday fun.
That's right.
We certainly do, Sam. Don't we?
We do.
I'm going fast, Sam. I can see it. Hector X, Sam, do you guys sell 200-pound rigged leaders for knife jigs?
Yes, that's kind of one of our best-selling products in here, actually. Really, really good.
There you go. That was a quick answer. Should I pry a little bit more out of you or move on? New point. Charlie here. What's up, guys? Charlie,
up?
Good to see you, my friend. Chris Navarro, Hector X. Yes, he does. He also has everything there to make them.
Yeah, and actually, even if you want to learn how to make them, I can show you. It's really, really easy.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. David says, when's Shimano coming out with those new jointed hard plastic swim baits?
Probably, you know what, they did. I think it's probably going to be around ICAST, but it's kind of a freshwater deal. They look really cool, though, for sure. I think they had them at their booth, but I want to say it's probably going to be around July.
All right, good stuff. Chad Christopher back with us again. Chad, always good to see you. Sam, join the 5-day on the Indy. I'll come to the shop to get ready. Tackle video with you for Phil.
All right.
Perfect. That sounds great.
That's a good idea.
Raymond Pacheco, you guys should do a tackle shop fishing competition. All local shops each charter a boat like Islands, Baja, Big Fish, Performance, and Young's, and have a huge jackpot. That's a good idea.
Kind of.
We could almost do like a thing for charity.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where, I don't know, we could figure something out there. Good idea. I like that. Cataleya. Did I get that right? Mm-hmm. Cataleya. Tell Michael I said, hi, he's my friend. And he just ran out the door.
Oh, man.
Cataleya, we will tell him.
He probably saw the comment and didn't want to say
He ran
something.
out.
Yeah.
I think he's out there crying about Paulina.
Yeah.
I like the way he described
Maybe-
his encounter with Paulina. Hi, Robert.
Maybe Paulina texted him and said, who's this Catalea girl?
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's out there like, what do you mean, Ola Ruth?
Yeah.
Live free, die free. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, my friend Dzung Duong,
Yes.
who I saw at the show a couple of days. A super great guy. I'm sure he came over and saw you.
Yes.
Hi, Phil and Sam. I talked to my major craft rep at the show. He said that they don't want to make tungsten jig in the 300
Yeah.
grams to 400 grams because it costs a lot more than the Eddie Bomb with the same profile.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I mean, you start getting to that size of jig, you might have just use a lead sinker, you know. But yeah, just want another thing too is I want to go over with you. He's been kind of getting ready for a Cedros trip, and he bought a bunch of gear at the show for him and his brother or his cousin or something like that, maybe something like that, brother-in-law. But come on down and I want to see what you got on those rods, and I want to see how they fit on those reels and all that kind of stuff. But if any of that stuff doesn't work out for you, or maybe not what you wanted, I know he's still going to come down and he wants to pick up a heavier rod for his bigger Stella that he has. But when you do that, if you can also bring the rods that you got for the reels that you bought for me, I want to kind of see I kind of want to see him a little bit better.
All right, very good. Catalea is back again in case you missed it the last time. Tell Michael Limon I said hi, he's my friend. Do you know Catalea?
Yeah.
Is that a male or female?
You.
It's a girl. Oh, maybe she's heard about this Paulina foolishness and you're in trouble. Well, he's looking down. I think he is, actually.
He's gonna say hi.
Yeah, do you want to say hi?
Hi, Cat.
Hey, okay, there you are. He wants out of here. All right, here we go. Michael Krinkovich. Pure albacore setup is a 196.7 with a Newell Squitter Jr. loaded with Andy 15-pound
It
pink.
could be, yeah.
Andy Pink.
Pink, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Chris Navarro. Good night, guys. I'll be at the shop tomorrow. Sam, I am. Chris, love you, man. Thank you so much for all your support and your kindness in the super chat. Live free, die free. Sam, do you think if we found a pen to make a 62-speed narrow torque and an 80 narrow 2-speed torque like they have in the Fathom?
Well, technically I mean, they might, basically he's asking if they'll make a bigger torque reel.
Thank you for translating.
Yeah, I'm not
just
really
kidding.
sure. I'm not really sure on that one. I mean, maybe, I guess, that the international, to me, once you go bigger than that 40, I kind of go to the international or Macaira really, but in my opinion, I really do feel like that size 40 is very, very, very capable. And also, too, once you want to go past the capability of that 40, you really need to go into a full-size big reel. And I know a lot of guys are using bigger reels in a lighter configuration, but to me, I really prefer to use just a full-size big reel.
Dzung Duong is back. A really nice gentleman. Hi, Sam and Phil. Sam, what is your opinion of the 310 Rodworks? I will read this because you are such a nice gentleman. TTR 931J, 93J versus other brand jig sticks.
Yeah, it's a great rod. I got to see it a little bit. I didn't get to pull on it too much, so I can't give an opinion on the bend profile. But knowing Darren, he's very, very good at rod design, and I'm pretty sure that this is a really, really nice one. As far as making a full comparison with all the different jig sticks that are out there, I would say it's just as high of a quality, but they all differ in different ways. I mean, some of them are larger diameter, tapers are different, and things like that. And so there is a lot to that. That's almost like a whole separate 2-hour video, as far as trying to do that comparison. But as far as just pure quality, I think if you get one of those, you're in really good hands.
We may be nearing the end, Sam. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. DJB, who signed up for our 5-day trip.
Oh, nice.
Also, Sam, enjoyed seeing your team at the PCS show. Could you give some consideration to redesigning your booth? I feel like I'm walking into a shoebox when I visit. I'm sure you have a limited amount of space and you're trying to get as much stuff in there as you can.
Well,
right?
also too, I mean, it just gets crowded. I bet if we had double size of the booth, it'd be double crowded. I mean,
Yeah.
so the only way to redesign it would be to buy a bigger booth. There really isn't a whole lot more that we can squeeze out of the size that we had. I guess unless we just didn't bring very much, but then people wouldn't be in the booth. So, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate feeling like you were squeezed in there. That means that we had a lot of cool stuff, and guys were in there and they were sticking around. So, but I do get it. I mean, the whole show was probably like that. I'm pretty sure whatever booth you went into, it kind of probably felt somewhat like that at times. So.
All right, very good. Cargo 91, Phil, Sam, have you guys ever eaten blue perch? Oh, I love this question. I wouldn't eat them in a million years.
Yeah,
Crapper
yeah,
snappers,
crapper
baby.
snapper.
Sport King, a few years back at Catalina, I was able to see them, how nasty they are, flashing. See, they are flashing toilet and blue perch. Yeah, they're crapper snappers. But any fish is a crapper snapper.
I bet you halibut eat that and all kind of stuff eat it. So
Delicious.
yeah.
Scott Butchert is back, and he says, that's Michael's girlfriend, Kat.
Ew.
Ooh.
No.
Why would you say that and hurt Kat's feelings?
She knows.
Yeah, she knows.
Okay. All right, Kat, we're on your side here. Chris Navarro, good night, Friedman Adventures family. Shop at your local tackle shop, especially if it's Island Fishing Tqckle. Tommy Tarr, the young men working in Sam's booth were the best. You do have a great crew. I love the kids here.
Yeah.
Rocco, Blake, help me.
Matt.
Yeah. And
yeah.
who else?
Steve.
Not
Especially.
Steve, yes, I love.
Yeah.
I tried to give Steve a hug and a kiss, and he ran the other way.
He did.
No, but who am I leaving out? There's one other kid here that. Come on, you can't remember.
That's it. Matt.
Oh, there's one.
Well, Peter.
There's Blake. There's Rocco. There's
Big Matt Groff.
there's Matt. There's two Matts.
Yeah.
The kid that's in college right now.
Oh, you're talking about Andrew.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Andrew.
Yeah. Don't leave Andrew out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long week. We got to
Yeah.
let Sam go here at some point in time. Keep
Put me on-
torturing him. Keep it coming, everybody. Oh, another question just came. Scott Butcher got in there now. Scott says that's Michael's girlfriend. I already read that, but I thought I'd read it again. You're right, Tommy Tarr. Those are good kids. Scott Butcher is back again, man. He's torturing you. I like it, Scott. I'm going to dismiss $2,000 of your gambling debt to me. See you later, Mike, in November on the Independence. Mike Krinkovich, always Team Scott on the Indy in November. Boy, I love it. I'm reading them fast now. Here we go. Michael, do you like better Catalina or Paulina?
I don't like Catalina or Paulina.
You don't like either one?
No.
Okay, he doesn't like either one. There you go, Kat and Paulina, you're down the tubes. Live free, die free. Phil, I have to ask, in time as the season come, let's hook up an albacore venture trip. I'm in. Yes, 100%. If they show up, we must go out.
Book it now.
Some guy came up to us. Remember, we're sitting out in front of he goes, let's do a 5-day albacore exploratory.
5-day.
And I'm like, man, I don't know about it. People are going to want to kill us when we don't catch anything. Scott Buchert knows your guys. Matt McGruff from South Bay Angler. Thank you, Scott, for helping Sam out. Michael, you got to pick one.
Paulina, I guess.
Paulina! Raymond Pacheco. Whatever happened to Mike Blue? Anyone heard from him?
I haven't. No.
Somebody said something to me like he's doing okay and
Yeah.
everything's good. I think he's just, doing something else. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And live free, die free. I'm on the 5-day. Awesome. DJB, Sam, not suggesting tournament style booth layout, but more of a horseshoe style may be more welcoming.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that working out pretty good.
All right, very good. That's the last question, it looks like. Unless you want me to keep going for a little longer. Sam,
Alrighty.
thanks for gutting this out tonight.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you're tired. Michael Limon, thank you for breaking Kat's heart tonight, and Paulina. That was nice. And Scott Buchert says he moved. Mike Blue moved with his wife somewhere. Thank God he took
Good
his
for
wife.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, most guys leave their wife when they get to that point. Scott, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. Island Fishing Tqckle is back open again here in Carson, California. Make sure you
got one
visit
more.
them. Go ahead.
I
There's
should
going to be a question coming
I
while you
should
do
have
this.
mentioned this at the beginning because now I'm setting myself up.
Yes, you are.
I am. I have had a lot of calls today about, I was down there, but man, I forgot to pick this up. I was down there and I ran out of money, but I still want this other thing. We are going to be doing, pretty much doing our show pricing that we had, at least for the next maybe week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, maybe through the end of the month. I haven't really decided, but for you guys that either didn't get down to the show or you got down there and forgot to buy something or ran out of money and want to buy something later, give me a call or send me a message. We are going to be able to do quite a bit of that. In fact, I had guys come in today that bought stuff quite a bit. But for you guys that are looking to stock up for the season, especially with this bluefin showing up, I think guys are really going to get motivated to start booking trips and getting ready. Give me a call or come on down, and we still have a lot of inventory. I mean, people would think, well, you went down there and sold everything. I mean, I got 10,000 rods over there, 5,000 reels over there, and I mean every jig imaginable. When we get ready for the shows, one of the things that we do is, even though we think we may, let's say, sell 50 rods, we're not going to buy 50 rods. We're going to buy 350 rods. So I'm going to have 300 left over. So it isn't like I'm missing things. In fact, just today we had, I think, 4 different guys call on Phoenix rods that they didn't find at the show, and we had them. Maybe they didn't find us, and so they called and put them on hold. So things like that. That you guys, CalStar stuff too. Give us a call, and we'll put it aside for you and give you the show deal.
That's absolutely fantastic, man. You get the show deal. And Sam, I don't know if you noticed, passed me a note while he was talking. He said he's happy to answer any questions on exactly what's on sale for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
He'll stay here. We'll keep the show going just for you guys. Don't worry about it. Don't hit me, please. Let's see. Dan Lightfoot says, smash that like button. Dan is absolutely right. DJB. Thumbs up. Thank you, DJB, for all your great participation tonight. Live free, drive free. Sam, you are absolutely
thank
awesome.
you.
Way better than Kat and Paulina. And the Fishing Cowboy, smash that like button. Thank you so very much. Thanks, everybody. Before we get another question, I'm going to let Sam go home, spend some time with his family, and get some rest. Thanks, everybody. We love you.